Ms. Nina wraps up her shift, humming a happy little tune as she waves the students goodbye. Inside her head, the party has already started. She thinks she has finally escaped the grind and is home free. She whips out her survival kit, the latest issue of Mega Poke. Her strategy is simple: go home, lock the door, and rot in bed for the entire break. But the second she slides the clubroom door open, reality hits her like a truck. Akiba and Shibuya are sitting there, emitting a gloom aura so heavy it practically has its own gravity field. The air is thick enough to chew on. She starts sweating bullets. She tries to stammer out a weak excuse about exams canceling club activities. She is internally screaming, begging for mercy, absolutely terrified of her own students. They do not care about her excuses. It is Akiba versus Shibuya. The tension is suffocating. Their eyes are locked, lasers focused, adrenaline spiking. You would think the fate of the world is at stake, but the reason for this legendary battle? They cannot agree on who controls the posing. Priorities, people. Miss Nina looks around and realizes the vibe has shifted. This is not a clubroom anymore, it is a straight-up war zone. She can smell the gunpowder in the air. Let's back it up a bit. It all started when Umi got down on her knees begging for a couple shoot. She wants to cosplay the main heroine, and she needs a partner in crime to complete the aesthetic. Minerva was not having any of that nonsense. She immediately equipped her legendary item, the face mask. That is a solid +10 defense against social interaction right there. Umi tried to bypass her defenses and demanded some skin in the game, but Minerva shut that down instantly. She calculated the distance and realized closer proximity would result in immediate combustion. Absolutely impossible. Minerva starts sweating bullets. She runs the simulation in her head and realizes couple shots is just code for public embarrassment. She is not about to be meme material. Umi swears it is modest, but the visual aid shows two girls practically merging souls. Minerva calls Cap immediately. That distance is way too close for comfort. She can practically taste the cringe. Umi plays the ultimate trump card. Do it for the ship. Do it for Mary Hero. But Minerva refuses to be bait for the fandom. She is not sacrificing her dignity for some internet points. Miss Nina decides to play God. Since these two cannot agree on the art direction, she steps in to force a settlement. The teacher mode is fully activated. She drops the hammer. Whoever scores higher on the next exam gets to dictate the photo shoot. It is pure academic warfare. Winner takes all, loser wears the cringe. Nina knows exactly what she is doing. These two are dead even in grades. Nothing motivates a student like the power to force your friend into embarrassing cosplay. It is diabolical, and I respect it. Miss Nina is on the warpath, cornering Akiba like a raid boss. She demands to know why he is dodging the assignment. Akiba starts sweating bullets. In his head, he is calculating the odds of survival. He tells her he is just a healthy young man, and frankly, he is terrified of the lethal levels of culture involved here. The timer hits 0, signaling a break. Akiba leans back, thinking he is safe, but Shibuya enters full goblin mode. She spots him slacking off. Her eyes narrow and she lets out a chuckle that screams premeditated crime. You know that laugh, it is the sound of a plan coming together. Inside the inner psyche, Umi is absolutely lost in the sauce. Look at those eyes. That is pure, unadulterated obsession. Minerva drops the truth bomb. Umi is possessed by the demon of photography. The only way to exorcise this spirit is to hand her a crushing defeat. Back in the real world, the possessed vessel starts trash talking. She guarantees a blowout victory on next week's exam. Meanwhile, Akiba is over here fighting for his life against his own textbook, trying to decode the ancient runes of algebra. But then, the vibe shifts. Akiba pauses. Ms. Nina pauses. The math is not mathing. Umi looks around, realizing the silence is getting way too loud. The tension in the room just spiked to critical levels. Someone checks the calendar. The test is not next week. It is literally tomorrow. Umi freezes. Her pen hits the desk with a hollow thud. She realizes the gravity of the situation. She is absolutely cooked. The results hit the board like a truck. Akiba snagged rank 13 out of 35. Umi is trailing way behind at rank 20. The skill gap here is absolutely massive. Miss Nina calls the winner, and the room instantly explodes into pure chaos. She hypes up their sudden academic comeback, claiming that raw motivation was the key to success. Akiba is just glad she kept her dignity, but Shibuya looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Nina spots an opening. She reminds Akiba that she actually took a loss in the English section. She guilts her into a compromise. Shibuya gets to pick the next photo shoot pose, provided he keeps it clean. Umi screams a confession of love that literally nobody asked for, while Miss Nina ignores the drama to offer a reward. She tosses them the literal master key to the school. Total access, zero supervision. The duo loses their minds over the private location, and they bolt before she realizes what she just unleashed. Shibuya gasps like she just witnessed a miracle. That summer uniform combo is a critical hit. She hypes up the new ponytail wig, admitting she was absolutely desperate to see this look in 3D. Talk about fan service. They start prepping the gear with perfume because apparently immersion is key. The squad is still in disbelief that Miss Nina actually gave them the green light to invade the school library. It feels like a trap. Akisa begs for a sweet theme, trying to keep it wholesome. Shibuya just laughs like a villain. She ignores the request and orders Akisa to drop to the floor instantly. The artistic vision waits for no one. Shibuya does not wait for a permit. She leans her entire body weight forward, pinning Akisa to the cushions like she is securing a payload. Akisa screams, but Shibuya pulls the receipts from Chapter 4, claiming this is just payback. She calls this aggressive cuddling sweet. Akisa demands to know where the sugar is. Akiba steps in with the lawyer defense. She claims if a character falls off a ladder, the pinning is technically canon. Akisa screams for wholesome vibes only, but the squad is folding. One girl admits the entwined poses are overstimulating her entire nervous system. Akiba locks in. Shibuya goes full director mode. She declares herself the heroine and Akisa the love interest. She calls the ship sacred. Morals are irrelevant in the face of art. Then, Akiba drops the bomb. She has been snapping photos with a hidden remote this whole time. Professional creeper strats. They check the playback. One shot actually looks like a legit couple, but the rest are mid. Shibuya suggests they stop faking it and actually touch. Akisa hesitates, but they start running simulations on the wildest hand-holding strats known to man. Shibuya cuts the games. She demands a hug. Akisa knows she cannot win. She braces for impact as Shibuya launches a full-body tackle of pure affection. Shibuya realizes the vibe is off. It is dry. It lacks that spicy passion. She digs through her mental archives and boom, light bulb. The strategy is simple. They are not just cosplaying, they are recreating the official art down to the last pixel. Akiba looks at the reference image and immediately wants to self-delete. It is way too close for comfort. Basically a kiss. But Shibuya talks her down, explaining the high-level strats. It is the fake sleep meta. Just close your eyes, look pretty, and pray to the anime gods. Test run initiated. Akiba squeezes her eyes shut like she is bracing for impact, sweating buckets. Shibuya leans in, closing the gap until the air between them practically evaporates. You can feel the heat radiating off them. The tension in the room is so thick you would need a chainsaw to get through it. But Akiba folds like a cheap lawn chair. She cannot handle the fan service levels. Shibuya lets out a massive sigh and swaps seats, taking the passive role to demonstrate proper technique. She sets the timer. 10 seconds on the clock. The atmosphere shifts instantly. We are talking full shoujo manga filters, sparkles, the whole 9 yards. And right on cue, a random witness walks in. She sees two girls about to cross the line in the middle of the library, and her brain completely crashes. Error 404, logic not found. Back at the studio, Miss Nina is in survival mode, just trying to finish her shift and secure the keys. But naturally, Akiba bursts in like a raid boss, screaming about photo evidence and confusing the absolute heck out of the staff. The poor employees look like they are trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces, totally unable to process the chaos. The aftermath is brutal. They get dragged into the storage room for a safety lecture that feels longer than a filler arc. The crew explains that shooting while tangled up like pretzels is seriously dangerous for the production. The mood in the room drops to 0, and you can feel the cringe radiating off the walls. Just look at these two. They are blushing hard enough to set off the fire alarm. They clutch their gear, totally mortified, realizing they nearly turned a wholesome shoot into a spicy culture compilation. It is a critical hit to their dignity, and honestly, they look ready to self-delete out of sheer shame. Finally, the school term has been sent straight to the lobby. You can practically smell the freedom wafting through the hallways. For Shibuya, this is not just a break. It is time to go full goblin mode. She starts listing the standard normie bait like beach trips, camping, and fireworks, but then the mask slips. Her real goal is raiding Comiket for that sweet culture and getting a massive glow-up. Meanwhile, Minoru is locking in for a hibernation arc. He is prepping cosplay, grinding games, and praying to the online store gods. He is ready to absolutely delete his bank account the second a rare drop hits. And then, the heavens opened up. It was the holy grail of otaku culture, a Rose Maiden collab cafe. They locked eyes, clasped hands, and swore a solemn blood oath right there on the street. They were going to secure that limited edition merch, no matter the cost. But just as the adrenaline started to fade, Shibuya realized there was a massive catastrophic glitch in their master plan. They are broke, like zero funds, absolute poverty tier. Their wallets were emptier than a filler episode. She leaned out the window and cursed every rich kid in the city to a lifetime of eternal lukewarm soup. Minoru had to step in and talk her off the ledge, suggesting the one thing they dreaded most: getting actual jobs. Minoru was a total rookie at the grind, but Shibuya flashed her resume like a badge of honor. She had survived the brutal trenches of the ramen wars, and she already had a new gig lined up starting tomorrow. She grabbed him by the collar and dragged him straight into the madness. He tried to play the social anxiety card to escape, but she shut that down instantly, promising him a safe haven in the back of the kitchen where no customers could perceive his existence. They rolled up to the cafe expecting a nice, easy tutorial level for their first day on the job. But Minoru's soul instantly disconnected from the server. The chef behind the counter didn't look like a baker. He looked like a level 99 raid boss ready to wipe the entire party with a single spatula swing. Satomi introduced her husband Taken and begged for help, while Minoru stuttered, desperately trying to calculate his survival odds against this mohawk sporting giant. He is doing the math in his head and the numbers are not looking good. Then the scary giant shattered expectations, offering them sweets with the grace of a royal butler. The man is walking Gap Mo bait, totally flipping the script. Satomi admitted she needed the backup because, well, the baby was coming soon, and she couldn't solo carry the shop anymore. Her stamina bar is flashing red. There was another threat looming though. A trendy food truck was camping nearby, stealing all their customers with hypebeast marketing and flashy gimmicks. It is basically pay-to-win tactics. Minoru was too busy ascending to the celestial plane from the pudding to care about business economics. The flavor profile just crit hit his taste buds. But when Satomi suggested checking out the enemy, Shibuya's eyes lit up like she just unlocked a new quest. She wasn't just visiting, she was launching a full-scale recon operation to expose the meta. They tracked the chaos to ground zero. The queue was long enough to have its own weather system. Minoru probably thought a raid boss spawned, but no, it was a Rose Maiden event. Psychological warfare initiated. The enemy staff launched a coordinated strike of high-pitched welcomes and chocolate bananas. It was a tactical nuke of frills and aggressive marketing. Minoru felt his social battery draining by the second, sweating bullets like he was in a ranked match with high ping. Shibuya panicked and woke up and chose violence. She screamed, "Eat seaweed" at max volume, shattering the vibe like glass. Minoru frantically checked the air for censorship bars, terrified the admins were about to ban them for excessive cringe. The final boss appeared. The owner slid in wearing a floral shirt and absolutely zero shame. He analyzed Shibuya's stats and tried to poach her on the spot, but she parried with a frame-perfect "no way." He took zero emotional damage but countered immediately. He sneered at their store, calling it shabby and outdated. You could practically hear the Vine Boom sound effect echo in the room. That is not just an insult, that is a declaration of war. They tried to tactical retreat, but this guy had the aggro range of a debt collector. He body blocked their path, teasing an event that Minoru supposedly could not resist. He unveiled his ultimate move, a summer vacation cosplay campaign designed to drain otaku wallets faster than a gacha game. He even pressured Shibuya to wear a uniform. The sheer audacity is actually impressive. That insult didn't just land, it set up camp in his psyche. It unlocks a core memory of every single time the internet roasted him alive. You can practically see the emotional damage bar filling up, but the squad is locking in. The kitchen staff are canceling their days off just to support the war effort. Now that is the kind of ride or die loyalty you can't buy. Akiba snaps out of his funk and gets that fire in his eyes. Sure, the store is ancient, but it's got history. He refuses to let some flashy poser walk in here and disrespect the family legacy like that. He needs a counterattack, and he is ready to empty the wallet for it. That is when Shibuya steps up, radiating pure main character energy. She has cooked up a scheme, but she needs him to trust her blindly. He doesn't even blink. There is no universe where he lets a glorified snack truck beat them. The mission is simple: crush their sales, secure the bag, and fund the collab cafe. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to cook.